Tyler Menninga's reign on Stadium Championship Series Blue continues, where he hasn't lost a race in nearly a month. Will the Gravedigger driver's streak continue? Can hometown hero Colt Stephens show out to get his first overall victory of the season? Or will Mark Liss unleash the crazy bull to try to claim his second straight event championship? We'll find out next on Monster Jam. It's a cloudy but otherwise beautiful night here in Houston, Texas, as 38,000 fans are making their way into NRG Stadium for round 5 of the Monster Jam season. Tonight, the drivers of Stadium Championship Series Blue will go head-to-head for the event championship. Good evening, I'm Leslie Mears, alongside my broadcast partner, Adam Enticknap. And in sports, the word dominant, sometimes overused. However, when it comes to Tyler Menninga, I'm not sure if that even measures up to the success that he's had throughout the first 6 events of the season so far. So he's got 4 event championships, 4 freestyle championships, 2 skills championships, and he's won the last 5 straight racing competitions, and that's 15 races in a row.
Yeah, I mean, the perfect word for Tyler this season is dominate. In Monster Jam, it's hard to be or master one of these events. Racing, freestyle, 2-wheel skills. It's amazing. Week in and week out, Tyler is doing all 3 at each event, and he's not doing it against slouches. We're talking Ryan Anderson, 3-time World Finals champion, Jim Kohler, 2-time World Finals champion, Cynthia Gauthier, Bari Musauer, 12-year veteran. This class is stacked. The only word for what Tyler's doing is dominate.
Well, and the last 2 events for Stadium Blue were just down the road in San Antonio. And while Tyler did have another great showing there, it was Mark Liss who won the 2nd event there, ending what some might say for him was a bit of a slump. And so, is that enough for him to break the cycle and get back to where he needs to be?
You know what? I thought that was amazing for Mark Liss to get that event championship, but I'm not totally convinced that that's going to turn this ship around. For me, what he needs to do is kind of take that momentum, bring it to Houston, and see if he can do it again.
Another driver riding a huge wave of momentum is Bari Musauer, and he has quietly climbed up to 3rd in the series point standing. And just a bit ago, we caught up with a zombie driver in this UNOH pit report.
We tried to build some momentum in San Antonio after the slow start we had to the season. We finished 3rd overall in points, only 2 points out of the win. And then on Sunday, we actually tied, 3-way tie for the overall event championship. But we've been consistent, and that's the name of the game. Consistency, just trying to have a good finish in no matter which competition we're in. That way you can just always accumulate those valuable points to maybe earn yourself an overall event championship. You definitely want to come out on top of each competition, but it's okay if you finish 2nd or 3rd. If you can keep that up in every competition, chances are your competitors aren't going to be that good.
And man, Bari is the king of playing that points game. As we take a look at his tough competition here, as we take a look at our driver lineup, how exciting is it to have the Rod Ryan truck here this weekend?
Yeah, 94.5 the buzz. You have to love that to get that new body on Joe Foley's truck. You know he's going to want to show out for that. But another guy that I really like in this competition has to be Colt Stephens. He's here at home. He's going to feel comfortable. He knows the dirt, and he has the crowd on his side.
He's got to watch out for that curse, though, that sometimes follows you at home as well. So let's take a look at the season point standings coming into round 5. Tyler with a 35-point lead over Ryan Anderson, and Anderson leads Musauer by 24 points. So it gets interesting from there as 17 points separate the next 5 drivers. And at this point, while we might see some changes in the positions of 3 through 6, all these drivers have to be hoping that there are truck gremlins for Tyler Menninga to give them an opportunity.
Yeah, you know, right now, we know in Monster Jam, that there will be broken trucks. I got a chance to talk with Tyler a little bit. He's had little things here and there. In San Antonio, he had a starter issue, but nothing big. At the moment, the other competitors, they have to get every single point. If Tyler has a big issue and misses a whole event, they could be right back in this thing.
Yeah, and that's a swing of 24 or 36 points right there. Well, nonetheless, we're seeing some epic driving from Tyler and Ryan so far this season, and here are the events that our drivers will be competing in tonight. It'll be a bracket-style racing competition, and then followed up by the Great Clip Skills Challenge, then the freestyle competition. Points are awarded based on the finish, with 12 points going to the winner of each competition, and the one with the most points at the end will be our overall event champion. So Adam, Houston has a reputation for carnage, and that's because this dirt is super tacky. And so from riding Supercross here for so long, what are our drivers going to have to do to be successful on this tacky dirt?
You know, in Houston, has to be one of my favorite places. This was my very first race and where I made my very first main event. So I know this place like the back of my hand, and the words that come to mind is Tack City. With that being said, the trucks are gonna be grabbing the edge of those BKT tires very easily, so you have to be gingerly around the corners during racing, but also look for a lot of carnage because the base of the dirt here in Houston is so firm.
Yeah, and those trucks are going to react so much quicker, too. So here's our racing bracket. El Toro Loco versus Bad Company, Zombie versus the Ron Ryan Show, Monster Mutt and Lucas Stabilizer will match up, and then finally Shaker and Avenger. So who stands out as one to watch?
You know, for me, the bracket that I like is Shaker versus Avenger. Ryan has been so fast, but he's dealt with so many little gremlins this season. If he can get those kinks worked out, he's gonna be unbelievable. And 26-year veteran, Jim, man, he's gonna be hard to beat, so I like that challenge.
And he's got that new heavy truck that worked very well for him a couple years ago at World Finals. So let's head to NRG Stadium for the first race of the night. It's Mark List and El Toro Loco up against John Gordon in Bad Company. And what I love about these round one matchup is the first three here have not faced each other yet this season, as they're off into that first corner, evenly matched and rocking and rolling.
The track looking very fresh. These trucks are hooked up. A good bounce for both trucks.
Man, Gordon just whipping it around there. And rough at the end for John Gordon, doesn't quite make it across the finish line fully. And we'll take a look at our super glued to the action replay.
You can see John Gordon turns just a little too tight, grabbing that pod, upsets the truck off the race ramp and puts it on the hood.
So the win comes at a cost here for Gordon as he advances, as we'll see Joe Foley representing 94.5, the Rod Ryan Show there, and then Bari Musauer in Zombie. And racing, one of those areas Bari said he needs to be consistent at.
Ooh, Bari a little wide off the start pod.
Yeah, both a little wide. I think that they're trying to be cautious after seeing the first round as evenly matched here. Musauer needs to make up some ground.
Bari comes inside, it looks good.
Here we go across the finish line. And how about it? Bari Musauer will catch up in Zombie and advance.
Bari Musauer by a zombie arm.
Hey, you just gotta stretch those fingers out there as far as you can, that's for sure. Cynthia Gauthier and Lucas Stabilizer will now face off against Chris Kohler in Monster Mud, who's had some steering issues this season, and he's gonna test the changes that he's made here to see if they work there in that first corner. Cynthia flawless there. Chris having some trouble.
Grabbing that turn pod, enters a little wide, goes too far inside, and man, they're a lot closer than I thought with Monster Mutt making those mistakes.
First time on this tacky dirt for Kohler. Cynthia's had good luck here. Who's it gonna be? It's super close. Let's take a look here at our replay, see if we can figure out who our winner will be.
Oh my goodness, I can't even tell. It's Chris Kohler with a 19.63.
Yeah, great move for him as we take a look at our final matchup here in round one. It'll be Jim Kohler in Avenger versus Ryan Disharoon in Shaker. Jim a little slow off the pod, advantage Shaker.
Ryan goes wide, he comes off that pod so quick, dead even at the halfway point.
Oh, and Kohler gets bit by the tacky dirt. A great save there, but it'll be Disharoon advancing in the bracket.
What a race.
The BKTs were coming back around as we see it right here. Just phenomenal.
Grabs that tacky dirt here in Houston, does a complete flip without touching the hood. I hope Jim can be ready for two-wheel skills.
So that'll bring us to round 2 here. So Gravedigger versus Bad Company, Megalodon versus Zombie, ThunderROARus, Monster Mud, and Son of a Digger and Shaker rounding out round 2. Up next, Tyler Menninga looks to extend his racing winning streak to 16 in a row. Gravedigger hits the track when we come back. Welcome back to Houston for round 2 of Monster Jam Racing. So Tyler Menninga is making his way up to the pod. He's got that 15 race winning streak going, and he'll be up against John Gordon here in Bad Company. Now, John is the one who owns the only loss that Tyler has this season in racing.
I like what Tyler just did there. He came off the pod, made a sharp turn, went straight to the inside, and he has about a truck lead.
Hit that turn pod a little bit. Gordon oversteering in the corner. Easy to do here on this tacky track as Menninga advances in Gravedigger. Let's take a look at our replay.
John Gordon, as you can see, oversteers right here around the first turn pod. Can't correct it enough, has to slow down, and makes it easy for Tyler to take the win.
Next up from North Jackson, Ohio, Corey Rummel in Megalodon versus Orlando's Bari Moosauer in Zombie. Corey owns a 2-0 advantage here over Bari in matchups.
A little wide for both the boys. Let's see how this plays out.
So Corey's got a slight edge here. And man, he was just a bracket slayer last year in racing, trying to find his groove.
Man, Corey's heavy on the throttle. Who's it gonna be?
Too close to call here. We'll take another look at it. And it's gonna be Zombie. Bari Moosauer so quick, rounding out those corners as he'll advance once again. Third up here, it's gonna be Monster Mutt Chris Kohler versus ThunderROARus Colt Stephens. A huge day for him, debuting in Houston for the first time since 2018. Little rough for both of them around the corners.
Chris couldn't see that inside pod, grabbed it with the left front tire. Colt Stephens with the advantage right now, kind of taking it easy, but that's exactly what you should do with the lead. Nice job, Colt Stephens.
And for Colt, especially great racing for him. He had the bye run, lost a transmission in introductions yesterday, so didn't get to practice. As we'll take a look at Kohler here.
Man, the tacky dirt here in Houston gets him once again, turns it on his side, and then a big bounce for Colt Stephens, barely pulling it off.
That's all he needs to do to advance here as Ryan Disharoon in Shaker, fast in round 1 against Ryan Anderson in Son of a Digger.
Laid off the gate for Ryan. Ryan Disharoon coming out with a little bit of an advantage.
Man, that truck is so low and it's got such great geometry, it just sticks to this tack.
Anderson had to let off in the final quarter. Is it Disharoon?
We'll take another look here at our Super Glue Glued to the Action replay. And it is Ryan Disharoon in Shaker, getting it done with that truck that is low and fast. So our semifinal round is set. Tyler Menninga advances, and once again, Adam, he will face off with Bari Moosauer and Zombie, and then we'll see Colt Stephens going up against Mr. Upset of the Night, Ryan Disharoon in Saigon Shaker. And for Disharoon, Adam, this has to be a great feeling after starting the season with so many mechanical issues.
Man, I will tell you what, for Ryan, this is a breath of fresh air. He's on a little bit of a hot streak. Let's see if he can keep it going.
So when we come back, it's the semifinals of racing. Can Tyler Menninga keep the streak alive, or will Colt Stephens get the chance to be a hometown hero? Find out when Monster Jam returns. We're back at NRG Stadium in Houston for the Monster Jam Racing semifinals. 38,000 loud and proud on their feet as the racing action heats up here. And so they have to be excited to see Gravedigger's Tyler Menninga out here to see if he can extend this streak against Bari Moosauer and Zombie, who has been fast on that second half of his lap.
Ooh, Bari up on 2 wheels, but I don't think it's gonna affect him. Tyler with a little bit of a lead. He grabs the pod.
But
so
look
does
at Bari
Bari
over there on top of the obstacle and doesn't really right himself fast enough to make up for the time. And so both drivers coming across obstacles there, and Menninga getting the victory.
Maybe something wrong with Bari. His rear steer didn't look like it centered as fast as he would like, making it very easy for Tyler to get that win.
So Tyler finds his way to the finals, and we'll see who his opponent is here. And so we've got Colt Stephens, hometown hero, Mr. Upset, Ryan Disharoon out there facing off here in this fiery matchup. Look at Disharoon, just so fast so far out of that first corner.
On two wheels, grabs that pod, that tacky dirt's getting these guys.
Can Disharoon recover here? Looks like he's going for a turn, shoot, turn method here to try to master this bracket. And he'll take advantage of ThunderROARus here and move on.
Colt trying to get back into it, grabs the tacky dirt, puts it on two, has to let it off. Ryan Disharoon taking the win.
So Tyler Menninga still firing on all cylinders here, and he'll see Ryan Disharoon next in the finals of these two drivers. Tyler recorded the fastest time back in round 2, but it's Disharoon who gets lane choice with the fastest run of the semifinals. Who you got?
I mean, it's gotta be Tyler. I love an underdog story. I'd like to see Ryan win, but I'm putting my money on Gravedigger.
What a win it would be if Disharoon could pull it off. He could end the streaks here. Our final trucks are on the track and ready to race one more time. So here we go, both of them a little slow off the pod and kind of tiptoeing through that first corner.
So much pressure here. Can Ryan break the streak? Good corners from both the drivers.
Super evenly matched here. It's going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. And it's going to be Tyler Menninga here taking the racing victory. Let's take a look at our super glue glued to the action replay.
You can see the Houston Tack City dirt catching Ryan and Shaker, making it so easy for Tyler to extend that racing lead.
So Tyler improves to 21-1 on the season with his 6th racing competition win. Tyler talks about being calm, but he told me that he's really found his center this year and it's working out better for him as we take a look here at the BKT overall points standings. Of course, how they finished here. Menninga, Disharoon, Stephens, Moosauer, and Anderson in the competition so far. So now it's time for our second competition of the night, our Great Clips Skills Challenge. So drivers have a lot of options here, a donut or 2 attempts at a 2-wheel skill judged by all of our fans in attendance. And so you've really got to bring the wow factor if you want to win here. And rounding out the top 5 here, it'll be Cynthia Gauthier, big sky wheelie.
Yeah, look at the way she hits the throttle at the base of that jump, putting that thing 90 degrees in the air.
Corey Rummel pops his way to 4th.
Nice little popper, sets that 12,000-pound truck up, steers it. Wish he could have got it a little longer, but nice job.
How about Chris Kohler logging 3rd place?
Yep, gets that thing on 2 wheels, goes for that bicycle attempt.
And the combo master himself, Tyler Menninga, 2nd.
So good at these 2-wheel skills challenges. He wants to get that thing up in a wheelie, but turns it, can't quite set the truck right.
And your champ here with a 9.603, the perfect bicycle to moonwalk, Ryan Anderson.
You gotta love the balance from Ryan Anderson. So good at these. Here he comes off the race ramp, balances on 2, gets the bicycle. Here's the combo for the Cyclone. All that tacky dirt won't quite let him do it, but unbelievable job.
So momentum building here for Ryan Anderson heading into freestyle with 12 more points as we take a look at the updated BKT overall event leaderboard. And so we're starting to separate guys out here. Ryan Anderson 3 back of the lead, then Corey Rummel 7, Chris Kohler 8, and then Bari Moosauer 9. So a little bit of distance there between those numbers. So we're halfway through round 5. So much more still to come as freestyle's up next. Welcome back to Houston. Earlier tonight, our drivers had the opportunity to spend some time with our fans at the pit party, and that's always a good time. And Adam, I know someone who's having an extremely good time, and that's Tyler Menninga. He started out the night 6 straight racing competition. He's now 21-1 on the year, 18 straight racing wins. Have we seen someone dominate like this in a long time?
You know, I haven't, but one guy that comes to mind is Ricky Carmichael in Supercross. He's considered the GOAT. I think what we're seeing in this sport from Tyler is a future legend. If he can keep this up, man, it's going to be easy to win that championship.
Yeah, and he really seems to be mastering these long tracks, and that's great for him. And Colt Stephens also got off to a strong start, finishing third in racing, but he missed the skills competition due to a second failed transmission on the weekend. So he has to be so disappointed not to compete in front of all of his hometown Houston fans.
You know, one thing, being at home, you always want to perform, right? You have your fans that have been there since day one. You have your friends, your family, and it's a little bit of added pressure. For Colt missing two-wheel skills, I don't think it's necessarily gonna lose confidence, but maybe a little bit of momentum going into this next round of freestyle.
Maybe just have him run just a little bit harder as he comes into that last competition. So as we look at the BKT overall event leaderboard after 2 competitions, it's the same story. Tyler and Ryan first and second. Then a big drop off here. Corey Rummel 7 points off the lead. Then there's a battle for third that's only 2 points for third through fifth.
Yeah, you know, Shaker and Colt Stephens and ThunderROARus missing those two-wheel skills, losing valuable points, but that top 3 podium spot, that is huge for these boys. They need those points to get back and catch up to Tyler.
Yeah, and anything can happen here in freestyle. You got to bring your A game if you want to be on top here at the end of the night. So here's a look at our running order. Tyler Menninga in that hand-selected 10 spot, but he's got Bari Moosauer before him, and we know that he likes to play the game and might steal some of Tyler's thunder. But we know that he sits atop of that leaderboard, 4 consecutive freestyle competitions to his name, and the only other driver to win freestyle on this tour is Cynthia Gauthier. But don't forget about Ryan Anderson. He's at the top of the leaderboard. He's strong in freestyle, but does he have enough to take the event championship, Adam?
I mean, Ryan Anderson is capable of anything. If there's one thing we know, Ryan Anderson loves freestyle. But to me, is Tyler gonna give this away? Is this Houston dirt gonna get him where he doesn't expect it? To me, fill 30 seconds, get your score, and try to come out of here clean in Houston.
Yeah, you mentioned it, and earlier in Track Talk, we talked about the tacky dirt here and the carnage that it's caused over the years, especially in freestyle. And so we begin freestyle. Just moments ago, it was Joe Foley that went out first. He had an okay run here, but broke early on in this backflip attempt, earning him a 7.848. It's time to see how Cynthia Gauthier and Lucas Stabilizer will handle the dirt. She's up now, so we'll head back into NRG Stadium for her freestyle run.
I got a chance to talk to Cynthia during the week, and she had such a high in San Diego, winning 2 of the freestyle runs there. She's putting a lot of pressure on herself. She really wants to do good.
Yeah, and I think the thing for her, as we saw that awesome slap wheelie followed up by some great big air here, is that she likes to be risky. She's willing to take chances in her run, mostly towards the end of her run, to try to get that freestyle victory. It doesn't play out for her well in the points. Nice, look at that brake check and control.
Nice sky wheelie, kind of using every part of this freestyle course. I really like that, working the outside to inside, the truck motors going good. Nice big air, little side slap there.
Yeah, air just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and that's what she wants to do. She said, you know, she just wants to kind of keep building until she can do something risky, maybe get that great recovery. A little flat land to the pod, nice combo for Cynthia. Remember, the score to be so far is 7.848. That was our first competitor, Joe Foley, in the Rod Ryan So.
Landing on that pod, that was such a technical move. The way she landed all 4 tires at the same time, that is gonna be so crucial down the line. Here she comes into the backflip. Oh, big backflip, holds it wide open, tries to get the rotation, lands on those front BKT tires, and can't quite pull it off, but the crowd's going wild.
Let's take another look at that super glued to the action backflip replay.
You can see she doesn't quite get the rotation, breaks the tie rod on the front of the truck, and Cynthia's done for the night.
So we'll move on here. John Gordon in bad company.
Coming out with some speed right now.
Yeah, a little bit better visibility for him with that nose off, and he hates doing body damage to that truck because it is so beautiful. But you get a look at that good-looking chassis, too, while it's off and seeing how things are working.
John Gordon hasn't been happy with how his season's gone right now with a big chance. Looks like the truck's leaning a little bit to the left side, gets a sky wheelie.
And so he could have some of those sway bars that are maybe kind of overextended on that side, need to rock it back to the other side to clock them straight. And he'll take another attempt here at a little bit of two-wheel maneuver, it looked like, just didn't hit that bump hard enough.
Leslie, it looks like there might be a problem with that left rear shock. That's so unfortunate for John, but he keeps it going.
So John is a skilled mechanic, knows his truck better than anyone, and so in the driver's seat, that gives him a definite advantage to know what he can do with his truck at this point where there's obviously something wrong with it.
Yeah, he's definitely not doing what he did at the beginning of this run, but he's trying to salvage each and every point he can, and that is so important for this championship.
And here, that big motor going to work here as he's putting in the combo work. What our fans like to see.
Nice job coming across that pod, switching it up a little bit.
Oh, he's going for one more hit here.
Hits the throttle at the bottom, gets a little twist because of that shock, but pulls it off.
A great corkscrew for John. That's something you normally don't see. And then he upends it.
Look at
John
him, he
Gordon
knows.
logging a good one.
Leslie, he knew the truck was broken and he held it wide open. Here it is with the 8-pack backflip. You can see that shock not quite working correctly. Gets a little bit of a corkscrew like you talked about, but lands it on all 4 BKTs.
Yeah, good to see John put in some wow moments here for freestyle. So coming up, 2 of the best freestyle drivers in the sport try to take the freestyle win here as Corey Rummel and Bari Musauer hit the track next. Welcome back to NRG Stadium here in Houston, Texas. And while we are away, Ryan Disharoon and Chris Kohler would compete. So Disharoon here clearly not executing that slap wheelie the way he wanted to.
Gets a good slap wheelie, gets it up almost 90, but those minefields of those jumps on the cross of the track just in the way.
Chris Kohler trying to go for a technical move in the middle, falls short, loses that left rear tire at 91 seconds, so 1 second short of getting a score in freestyle. So Team Scream teammate Corey Rummel will be up next here in Megalodon. He's currently 3rd in points so far, 7 off the lead and 4 away from 2nd place as he tries to take that overall.
Corey Rummel hammering that throttle.
Yeah, he told me he really feels like he's struggling in freestyle, that the track just makes you throw up some Hail Marys earlier, and he doesn't have a way to get good momentum and to get his adrenaline pumping in the truck. So if you've got trouble getting your adrenaline pumping, what do you do when you get out there to make it happen for you, to kind of fabricate it?
I mean, this is right out of the Gravedigger camp, right? You line up the first very, very biggest jump you can find, hold it wide open, and launch that truck into oblivion. That's how you get going. But Corey Rummel putting a great freestyle run, kind of getting combinations from the side, the center, doing everything you need to get a big score here in Houston.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to throw down, and we all know that he does custom chassis work for Team Scream, and that truck can really take the carnage that he's going to put it through.
Thought he was going to go for a slap wheelie right there, but he backs off. Must have not seen something he liked. I noticed he wasn't perfectly lined up for that ramp, so that could have been it.
Yeah, a little pop and drop to get himself square and back around with a quick turn at the other end. And he's really utilizing the whole floor here well. So I do think he gets some style points for that.
Oh my goodness, the size of these backflips here in Houston are Texas size. It's going big.
And he knows he's going to have to do it. That score to beat 8.518. John Gordon, bad company in the lead. And so he's got to best that run if he wants to give himself an opportunity for the overall event championship.
Landing on that rear, you got to be careful with this Houston dirt. He's putting on a show here in Houston. This is going to be a good score.
Locks it in here. We'll take another look at that backflip.
He's seen the other drivers. He gave it a little bit more gas at the last second. Lands a little bit on the left side, but pulls it off.
Gives a little kiss to that container there as a barrier as well. And you can tell, I think his adrenaline was pumping there as he moves into first there with a 9.011. Up next, the driver who led the league in stadium freestyle wins 1 year ago. Here comes Bari Musauer.
Gotta love it. The signature slap wheelie from Bari Musauer. He is just a master at that.
Yeah, 5th in the points so far, trails by 2 points for 3rd place. And so he's trying to climb back out of that carnage from San Diego round 2 that really put him behind the 8 ball in the points chase.
Bari Musauer has to put something together really well. He's great at these freestyle runs, and as you can see, he's maneuvering his way around the track, trying to use every single obstacle, trying to show this crowd something new.
And something that's unique about Bari is that he hasn't finished a freestyle run and filled the whole clock yet this season, but he was the leader 1 year ago in freestyles, and he's having some trouble with his shocks, Adam. So how is that impacting him?
You know, that is an unbelievable stat. When your truck is not perfect and you're not comfy, you can't do the things you want to do. And like we talked about many times before, he walks the track. He likes to have his freestyle runs planned out. So when things don't go according to plan, it's hard to just have that perfect freestyle run that you want.
Yeah, and he said he's been working with Julian on the shocks, trying to get them where he needed to be. Had one actually bottom out on him in San Antonio. And so trying to get in a truck that's not going to beat him up and it's going to make those landings easier, the recovery easier, so he can bounce back, hit the combos, and keep going like he is right now.
Yeah, with those shocks, if they're not working absolutely perfect, it's going to throw you to the left, to the right. You're just not going to be feeling it. It looks like, is he making his way to the backflip ramp?
He knows that the clock is ticking here, and he's got to hit that container if he wants to get that wow moment in.
A little bit low, choosing to use the left side of that backflip. I don't know how much I like that option, but he executes the backflip well. A huge air from Zombie in Houston. You gotta love that, though.
And he's gonna stop short there with his run. The fans are loving it. And Zombie trying to beat that score to beat us. We'll take a look at our super glued to the action replay.
Here he comes on that opposite side of the backflip ramp. You can see it. It's throwing the truck a lot lower. It's definitely safer, but I don't know how it's going to judge with the fans.
It did pay off, a 9.036. He's our new leader here, but now it's time for the action of the week. We're coming to you from Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee with Arena Championship Series East. And this is Armando Castro and El Toro Loco just throwing it down here in the Great Clips Two-Wheel Skills Challenge.
You gotta love that little combination. Look at the way he gets that moonwalk. Gonna set it into a wheelie, grabs the bumper, does a backflip. I don't even know what's going on, but it's amazing.
Such focus and control to make that happen by Castro, just phenomenal. So there it is, our action of the week. Tyler Menninga currently holds the overall event lead, and he's looking for his 5th straight freestyle win. Will he get it? We'll find out when Gravedigger hits the track next. This is Monster Jam in Stadium Championship Series Blue at NRG Stadium in Houston. And while we were away, Colt Stephens in ThunderROARus had a really good run going here, a huge backflip, trouble sticking the landing.
Yeah, just gets a bad rotation on the backflip, flips on his lid, not the way you want to end.
An 8.353 as Mark List barely fills the 30-second clock to earn a score here of 7.321.
Trying to get a nice combination into that nose wheelie, but this dirt's so tacky, it puts him on his side and blows out the BKT tire.
So next up here, it'll be our series points leader, Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger. He's got a 3-point lead over Ryan Anderson here in the quest for tonight's overall event championship. So he knows what he's got to do here, especially with Bari and Corey sitting 1 and 2, and they're right in that 3 through 5 range in the overall standings so far.
We talked about that. Right now, the most important thing for Tyler is to fill that first 30 seconds. He's driving very aggressive on this Houston dirt, Leslie.
I think that's part of his calm mentality, though. Like, I love how he acts all goofy. Look at that. Incorporating those two-wheel skills and showing that he's got great throttle control and just maneuverability of that 12,000-pound truck when he's sending it like that.
And I feel like here in Houston, with this dirt being so tacky, it's a lot easier to take advantage of those two-wheel skills in your freestyle run.
Yeah, you've got to have that precision timing, though, and that's something that he has perfected in his 4 Arena Championship Series victories that he's got over the course of the years, and trying to prove himself in his first Stadium Championship Series win.
A huge air off the pod. That was unbelievable. Tyler driving this truck into the ground. A little smoke coming out of Gravedigger, though.
Doing a great job brake checking, getting those backsides, those nice clean landings with those BKTs straight down the ramp. Let's see what he's got for us as a wow moment then. Uh-oh, you were right. Problems here, early mechanicals for Gravedigger, and that will be it. We'll take a look here at the replay for the highlights of Gravedigger.
Pops the rear of that truck up, sets the 12,000-pound truck 90 degrees in the air on the BKTs. You can see him on the opposite end of the track just rolled to a stop. So unfortunate for Gravedigger.
So just 2 trucks left to run. Here's our current freestyle leaderboard. Bari Musauer on top in search of that first freestyle victory of the year, followed by Corey Rummel and John Gordon. The event championship is still on the line with 2 more trucks left to compete. Let's see if Ryan Anderson can take the freestyle win and the event championship when we come back. So we are back with more Monster Jam in Houston. And before we get back to the track, let's take one more look here at our overall event leaderboard after 2 competitions. So Tyler on top, he's already ran. We've got Ryan Anderson left. What do you think he has in store for us here?
I mean, this is Houston, Texas. You've got to go big. Ryan Anderson knows what's on the line. Can't wait to see what happens.
And first, it'll be Mr. Excitement himself, Jim Kohler.
After that racing crash earlier, I'm glad to see him out for freestyle. What he has to do is get some momentum going like he is now, but I'd like to see him kind of ramp it up a bit, Leslie.
Yeah, things are pretty severe out here on the track, and so there's some great ramps out here for the big air that he is known for. Remember, he's a 7-time Extreme Air Award winner, so we know we're going to see some of that out of him.
Jim kind of taking it easy. I wish he would have got the rhythm on that pod. Kind of catches a little sidewall. This dirt's grabbing those tires and putting you every which direction.
And I wonder, too, he got a new motor this year. Nice touch there with the Sky Wheelie. But he got a new motor this year, and so he's got more power than he's ever had before. And so, Adam, how's that going to work for him? More power, tacky dirt, treacherous conditions? How's that going to work for him?
It seems to be working good right now, but what's going to happen is he has so much more throttle response on this tacky dirt. Yeah, his truck is heavy, but with that big motor and so much grip going on, he is going to be rocketing out of these corners.
Yeah, I love that combination right there. Cross the pod and then hitting that final jump. Jim known for hitting the 8-pack backflip on occasion. Not a big fan of the trench box because he said it just doesn't have as much wow factor to it. And so let's see if he's going to give it a whirl here.
Getting it lined up. I don't like how much time he's wasting on the clock, but let's see if he can nail it. Gets the backflip, big air, oh, breaks the left rear off the back of the truck.
Straight on that left rear. It took the full brunt of the 12,000 pounds plus the inertia of the flip, as we'll take another look here at the highlights from Avenger.
Jim taking his time to line up the backflip, but over-rotates the rear end of that truck, taking the brunt of the force, and you can't do that here in Houston.
So our final competitor, Ryan Anderson, comes to us here in Son of a Digger. So if you're the driver here and you know you've got this pressure to try to win, you know, how are you going to prepare yourself and get yourself in the right mindset to face all that?
You got to just be calm, and you have to just remind yourself, I know how to do this. I've been in this position before, and I just need to drive like I know I can drive. And if there's one man that can do it, it's Ryan Anderson. He's already started this run out hot.
And he's been in this position at least 6 times because that's the amount of freestyle victories he has here at NRG Stadium.
Nice big air from Ryan. The front of that son of a digger truck coming off. I love what I'm seeing right now.
Better visibility. It looks like he slowed down a little bit so it could catch itself and just go onto the track so he wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. And that's one thing about Ryan. There is a specific throttle rhythm for him. You know, it's the Anderson throttle rhythm, and he's got this move down pat this season to combo.
I love that, throwing a little 2-wheel skills in for the fans. That's for sure gonna get him a high score. And back to what you were talking about, you know, he's throwing in technical moves when you don't even know that there's a technical move going on. Ryan Anderson, unbelievable in a Monster Jam truck.
All comes back to muscle memory, and that's not something his brain is doing, folks. That's just strict reaction and time in the seat and all the years that he's been driving that have conditioned him to that. Here's the thing, he's gonna have to beat a 9.036 if he's gonna take the win.
Here's the backflip, nice and big, throws it into a combo move, moonwalk to a wheelie. This is a triple combo.
I have no idea how he was able to shift that fast because that is a tall task, folks, to get it from reverse to forward that quick. And look at that brake check. A nice little
here in
scoot.
Houston.
What else could he do here? I mean, he's pretty much done it all.
You don't need anything else. He's putting the pedal to
One
the
more
metal.
save.
He's burning down the house.
Take a look at our super glued to the action replay here for Ryan Anderson.
Oh man, I'm hyped after that freestyle run. Check out this backflip. Look at the execution on the height. Gets those rear tires up, throws it into reverse, gets the moonwalk, throws it back into forward, and gets the wheelie. A triple combination for Ryan Anderson. Look at the way that truck's just slinging around, holding it wide open, not a care in the world. Ryan Anderson is truly unbelievable in freestyle.
And he is stoked. A 9.820 puts him on top of our final leaderboard for freestyles. We'll take a look here at our top 5. Ryan Anderson on top, Bari Musauer second, Megalodon third, Avenger fourth, and Bad Company rounds out your top 5. Final BKT overall point standings with him on top. So let's head trackside to hear from our overall event champion, Ryan Anderson.
Winning 2 of the 3 events was awesome. Skills was great. I nailed both the tricks I was going for, and that's not very common with the risky tricks I tried. And freestyle, man, that was the freestyle I've been dying for all season. I couldn't be happier with it. Crazy flip, crazy moonwalk out of it, walking across the pad, and the best of all, crashing, saving it back on the wheels to cap it all off. Man, that's what I've been needing.
Well, we'll see if that Houston hot streak can continue for Ryan Anderson next round when Stadium Championship Series Blue returns to NRG Stadium for round 6. For Adam Enticknap, I'm Leslie Mears. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you right here next time on Monster Jam.